president flew all the way to Afghanistan over the weekend, but most people are not talking about the trip. They're talking about this significant snafu when the White House released the name of the CIA's station chief to hundreds of reporters. It's now asking the press not to publish the name. We're not going to do that either. Ambassador John Bolton is a former U.S. ambassador to the UN. How are you, sir? And good morning to you, also a Fox News contributor. What do you think of this bonehead move?
Well, it is just jaw-dropping incompetence. When I first read this story, I was speechless. In a White House that is filled with press flacks, who undoubtedly reviewed this material they put out in connection with the president's trip, was there no one who understood the significance of what they were doing? There's simply
or could
no
even
excuse for it.
Interpret the title of, station chief. I mean, come on.
Well, look,
I mean, plus this is. You want the commander-in-chief to shine. You want him to be on the stage. The veterans issue's been out there for a month. It will continue to go on and on and on. And if you want the best PR picture over Memorial Weekend, fly to Afghanistan. That was all brilliant, but just blown apart by this move.
Well, Susan Rice, the National Security Advisor, has a Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communication. If you can get your arms around that title, the infamous Ben Rhodes, he of the email about Benghazi. Didn't he review this material? Has he been there at the NSC for 5 years and doesn't know what a chief of station is? Somebody's head should roll for this.
Well, the individual who we are concerned about, is there a reassignment necessary now, or do you have the protection of the Bagram Air Base that will keep you insulated from harm? What do you think? Well,
I think the risk for a chief of station, obviously he's declared to the government of Afghanistan, so there's some number of people who know it. But if there are terrorist groups, if Al-Qaeda or Taliban are shadowing him, considering him as a target for assassination, if they've tracked his movements but aren't quite sure, if they've looked to who he talks to both within the U.S. and NATO communities, but among Afghans as well, all of that is called into jeopardy. And it's the sort of blunder that could render a lot of intelligence operations ongoing in Afghanistan absolutely moot.
Oh, what a shame that would be, too. Others contend, you read a lot about these stories, that the Valerie Plame incident was similar. When she sent her husband, Joe Wilson, to Africa to investigate, some claims of evidence that that Saddam Hussein was doing something rather nefarious. So her name goes public. Is that a fair comparison?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Valerie Plame's name was made public by Rich Armitage, Secretary Colin Powell's deputy, and then resulted in some very unfair treatment of a lot of other people in the Bush administration, like Scooter Libby. But that was just a malicious piece of gossip. This is utter incompetence. There is no justification for this. There's no explanation for it. It's like there's nobody in charge at the White House. I think it's a problem that runs through Obama's administration. Who is in charge on these things? Nobody, seemingly.
It seemed to be a big black eye, as you point out there. One more point here. The president went to Kabul and never met with Karzai. What's up with that?
Well, look, I think this trip, I'm glad he went as commander-in-chief, but it's obviously the curtain raiser on a week of foreign policy. The president gives a big speech tomorrow. He had Memorial Day yesterday. This is all choreographed to lead up to his trip to Europe and the 70th anniversary of Normandy. So a lot of it is just the theater of politics as usual, which is what the Obama administration specializes in.
Well, we'll see what happens on the CIA story if we can get to the bottom of it. Thank you, sir. John Bolton on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate your time.